Why aren't people buying from your high ticket dropshipping store? Why are sales not coming in? Is it your niche? Is it your website? Is it all of the above? Why is it that nobody is converting on your high ticket dropshipping website? Well, I'm going to talk about it in this video. Welcome back to the channel, everybody. If you are new, subscribe for daily high ticket dropshipping content. If you are serious about starting a high ticket dropshipping business in 2025, I recommend checking out my program. The link is in the description below. I'm a couple days away from releasing my new 2025 high ticket dropshipping program, along with my co-instructor, Lisa Whaley, who has 25 years of SEO experience. If you buy the current course at the current price, you'll be grandfathered in automatically at no additional cost. But once that course goes live, the current course goes away and the new course is going to be a higher price than what it currently is. So if you want to save some money, I'd say now's the time to get in. So let's talk about your high ticket dropshipping store and why sales aren't coming in. And I need to make some assumptions here. I'm going to talk specifically about, you're in your first weeks or, a couple of months of starting your high ticket dropshipping business. And you've followed all the steps, you've put in all this work, you've gotten suppliers, you've built your website, you've connected to Google Merchant Center. Maybe you've already dealt with a Google Merchant Center suspension for misrepresentation and you've gotten through it. You've gotten to this point and you can actually go to market with your products and sales aren't coming in. And it is the most disheartening and the most frustrating thing on God's green earth. But the reality is, and I'm always honest with anybody that wants to do this business model, it is hard. It is a challenging business model. And I'm not going to be someone on YouTube that says you can kind of do anything, do any niche, and just kind of use this plug and play strategy and it's going to work. No, it takes learning and adapting, and it requires a good framework. But then a lot of it beyond what you learn from an online program and a mentor, there's an element of it where you kind of have to learn and adapt as you go. And that's the challenging part. That's the intangible part. So let's say you're at that point. You're getting traffic, people are coming onto your store. Maybe you've seen an add to cart, maybe you've seen a couple, maybe you've seen none. Maybe people are just kind of landing on your website and leaving immediately. And for the life of you, you cannot figure out why. Well, I'm going to use this video to kind of talk about the process of elimination as far as how do you identify the variable or variables that are going wrong in the equation here. And that is much easier said than done. But hopefully this kind of gives you a direction, at least as far as where to evaluate and where to start. So if we're looking from the top down at a high ticket dropshipping business, I've said it many times on this channel, your niche is by far unequivocally the most important part of your business. Anyone that says otherwise is just simply not correct, both from an advertising perspective or if you don't even have an advertising budget and you're just going for SEO. Your niche is 100% the most important part, and that will always be the case. So let's assume that you're in a niche where you've done your homework. You've followed, let's say you're in my program and you followed the framework that I lay out. I'm not saying I'm perfect and I'm all knowing, but I think I have a really reliable framework of at least thinking about and choosing really, high potential niches. If you follow my channel for a while, I like need-based. You've looked at the SEMrush data, you've looked at the SPY food data, and the metrics kind of back up, there stands a chance that this could be a good niche. But the sales just aren't coming in. So the question becomes, am I in the right niche, or do I need to maybe figure something else out as far as what's going wrong? And I think people are often too quick to assume that they're in the wrong niche. But at some point, you kind of have to face that reality, and it's a hard balance to find. Let's assume you're not giving up on your niche in the meantime. Okay, so where do you look to try and fix things? Well, if I'm in your shoes, where I'm going first and foremost is into my Google Ads, and what I'm looking at is what search terms am I showing up for? Okay, I'm going into whatever campaigns I'm running, whether it's, whether I'm advertising the whole catalog, at the beginning. I'm in the first few weeks and I'm just trying to get a sense of like what is actually getting clicks and traffic. Because the first couple of weeks, the first 2 to 3 weeks are for learning. Really, the first month is for learning. then there and beyond is both for learning and earning. Meaning that you're just not going to have any data in your account when you first get started, but over the course of time you will. So let's assume I have some campaigns that are specific to certain product types in Google Ads, specifically standard shopping campaigns. Where I'm looking is I'm going to look at the search terms. I'm going straight into those campaigns. I'm going to look at the search terms, and I'm going to see, A, what's my click-through rate? B, I'm going to expand the page to 500 rows, and I'm going to look through everything that's getting impressions and everything that's getting clicks. And I'm going to see how much irrelevant traffic am I actually getting here? Are the clicks, is the word Amazon in there? Is the word Lowe's in there? Is the word cheap? Is the word used? Is the word local? Are those types of things in there? Maybe a branded word is in there for a brand that I don't currently carry. All these irrelevant keywords that, well, now that I look at it, it turns out I've gotten 50 clicks over the last 7 days for keywords that are irrelevant to my business. The most powerful thing, especially on the front end, that you can do with your Google Ads is eliminate as many negative keywords as possible. Yes, you will see your traffic go down, but you will spend generally less on your Google Ads and your traffic will be much higher quality. Okay? So that's kind of where you start first. It's like, are we getting people that are actually looking for what we're selling here? Because that's kind of the whole point of high-ticket dropshipping. You are advertising to people that are specifically searching for what you're selling. Are we actually achieving that with our Google Ads? Then the other thing that you can control with your Google Ads is obviously how much you're bidding. And that's where it becomes trickier, especially on the front end when you have a lower budget. Let's say you only have enough to spend $30 per day. Well, it's hard to justify spending $3 to $4 per click because then you're limited to like 10 or less people landing on your store each day. And it's like, unless you have a 10% conversion rate, that's just not going to be enough traffic to try and see like a daily sale or even a sale every other day or so. A realistic conversion rate to shoot for is anywhere from 0.5% to 1% in high-ticket dropshipping. High-ticket items inherently just have lower conversion rates because people do more research. They're more cautious when they're actually shopping around for high-ticket items. And so you kind of have to find that balance of how much traffic am I getting and, can I up my budget at all, or am I just kind of stuck here for a while? Well, if you're stuck there for a while, really all you can do, let's assume you want to stay between like 50 cents to $1 per click. Well, on $30 per day, you're getting 30 to 60 people landing on your website, which is reasonable. But the problem is when you're bidding that low on your clicks, those aren't going to be very high converting shopping ads relative to your competitors that have bigger budgets that are able to spend $4 to $5 per click and get, a couple hundred people to land on their website every day. Because those are the ones that are going to be consistently in the top of the Google Ads shopping results. I can't tell you how many times I got a phone call, on my, from my store, from a customer, and they said, I was looking for a pond fountain, and your website was the first one that came up, so this one looks nice, and I thought I would give you guys a call and ask some questions. It's like, that's kind of the mentality of shoppers. Shoppers aren't in the minds of us e-commerce entrepreneurs. We understand how Google Ads work, but they don't. They see it as, well, this is the first result. This is among the first results that came up. So chances are this is a reputable website. This is a reputable source for what I'm looking for, and this is a quality product. That is just part of the psychology of the online shopper. And so over time, the goal is obviously getting sales and putting it back into Google Ads so you can up your budget and up your bids proportionately to, maintain the same level of traffic, but ideally increase the quality of your traffic from a conversion rate standpoint because you'll be showing up higher in the Google Ads results. Okay, so let's assume you've done all that you can with your Google Ads at this point. You're on a limited budget. You're at least showing up for the correct keywords as much as humanly possible. Again, this is a constant maintenance when it comes to negative keywords. Then it's time to turn to your website. And this is where it becomes a little less direct as far as identifying where you can improve. And this is something that just takes time. And for me, it was many things that could be improved upon. I've talked about this before on my channel. When I got advice from my peer, Gia, who got started in high-ticket dropshipping at the same time as me, one of the biggest changes, one of the most impactful changes that I made on my product pages was my product descriptions. How are they actually laid out? How am I presenting this information to the shopper? Is it clear and concise and simple? Does it make an easy buying experience? And then from there, how's my branding? Are my colors distinctive? What is the color of the add to cart button? These are all little things that add up to influencing a potential conversion. Like for instance, I tested it 1 month versus another month. Turned out a blue add to cart button without changing any other variables on my website nor in my Google ads. Turns out a blue add to cart button converted higher than a green add to button. That's just how it worked out for me. So it's all of these little things that you just have to really think about. But I would say where to start first is how am I actually organizing the information here? Does it make clear like the warranty? Are the key features of the product highlighted? Maybe up around where the price and the title goes. Are the tabs for, is it easy to find everything out I need to know about this product when I land on the page? The reason I'm harping so much on the product page is because that's where 99% of your traffic is going to land, and your product page is where conversions actually happen. Okay. I would say the thing to focus on, last is stuff like your homepage and your graphics and like that kind of stuff comes with time. And I'm not saying it doesn't matter, but I'm saying if we're ranking the totem pole of things that you should pay attention to on your website, the product page is at the very top, specifically the product images and the product description. One thing that I'll kind of talk about, kind of going back to Google Ads somewhat, and I don't mean to mix things up here, because it kind of relates to the website. You'll have your Shopify product title, but then you also have the ability to alter your Google Ads title. One of the most important things in Google Ads when Google is looking at shopping ads that are competing in the same auction is the product title, and does it match the keyword that's being typed in? So that's something to be mindful as well, just kind of a side note as far as things that you can influence. So, let's say your product page is perfect, your Google Ads are perfect, and then it comes down to you can only speculate at that point. Well, it's a good thing that there are things like Lucky Orange. And I'll caution you because over the course of years, it's so easy to become an addict watching Lucky Orange and just watching people that land on your website. So what Lucky Orange is, it's an app, and they don't sponsor this or anything. It's just something I've always used for years. It's an app, and I'm sure some of you are familiar with it, in Shopify, where you plug it into your store, and it allows you to literally watch people as they navigate your website. And it'll show you if they add to cart. It'll show you what they added to their carts. It shows you how many pages they viewed. It'll show you how long they spent, and you can literally watch the screen recording of what they have done either that day or the previous day or in real time as they are shopping or browsing your website. And from there, you can kind of get a really good idea. Like that's kind of the most raw data you can possibly get is actual real user data of people looking at your website and reading through descriptions and, maybe clicking on something and like kind of scrolling and just trying to get a sense of like what's going through their mind. What is maybe a point of confusion that they're reaching on the product page? And is there a typo or is this link not working? It's little things like that that you slowly improve over time just by observing the users on your website. Ideally, you make improvements to make the buying experience easier, and it leads to more conversions. Then I think kind of the final thing that I'll touch on here as far as what can you actually do to influence the sales that you get, and it is get more suppliers. one of the most valuable lessons that I learned is that within a niche, even if you have 8 suppliers that all produce the same product type or set of product types, 1 or 2 of those suppliers at the end of the day is going to be your primary revenue drivers. Like I'm talking 95% of your revenue, a lot of the time is going to come from 1 or 2 suppliers. And sometimes it might just so happen you don't have that supplier yet. And what you have to do is go out and maximize your options and get as many suppliers as freaking possible to give you the most options to the shopper and give you the biggest catalog that you can possibly have on your website. And through casting that wider net, ideally you discover something that actually gains traction. And the last thing that I'll touch on other than that is abandoned checkouts. This seems obvious. That's your hottest lead. And it's the only way to actually get like customer information as far as contact, name, their like shipping address, all that stuff. And it's definitely smart to have an automated email, go after abandoned carts, or abandoned checkouts rather. But what I have always done is literally call or text with my cell phone, the customer, just calling them and saying, "Hey, I saw you were looking at this. I'm the owner of this business, and I just wanted to see if you had any questions that I could help you out with." And just leave it at that. And I would say my conversion rate over the course of time on that has been over half. I'd say 60, 70%. So, ideally, you have to get to that point where you're actually getting people that are adding to cart and getting like reaching checkout and abandoning it, because that's when you're really close to doing the right thing here. Then it's just a matter of, well, where did I fall short in this sale? Did they find it maybe someone offered a better discount? And that's never the game that I want to get to playing unless it's like a direct, like, well, they're offering this. Can you offer that too? I'll look at the margins and I'll be like, yeah, I can, because at that point I might as well get the sale versus just saying no. So I don't think trying to compete on price, as long as you're advertising at minimum advertised price, or if you don't have MAP, advertising at the price point that all of your other competitors are pricing their items at. I don't think competing on price is where to start with this whole thing. Because there's a lot more that goes into value when people are spending thousands of dollars. Like, yes, they want to save a buck where they can, but at the end of the day, when they're spending that amount of money already, they want to get the most value and they want to feel like they're in good hands. I hope that was a helpful video. I'm going to end it there. If you're new, I recommend subscribing. I'm going to be uploading daily content for all of 2025 about high-ticket dropshipping. And if you're someone that is serious, again, I clarify this: only if you are serious about starting a high-ticket dropshipping business, I recommend checking out my program below. I don't think programs are worth spending money on unless you are fully committed to what it is that it is teaching. So if you have any questions, shoot me an email. If you guys have any recommendations for what you want me to talk about on this channel, leave comments below, like, subscribe, all that good stuff, and we will see you guys tomorrow.